Hey, what's going on, guys? So, as you know, I am one of every Pokemon YouTuber on Smogon, so I am also recording this game. And, that kind of touches upon how significant this is going to be. This is, of course, CBB, Crashing Boom Bang, etc., versus Mounts. CBB and, big established player. Very divisive character in the community. A lot of people hate his guts, whatever, that's fine. I don't feel some way about it, so who cares? Mounts, everyone's on his dick. BKC, I'm sure, is gobbing on his knob as I say that now. Regarded very highly as an Oros player, though I feel like his career thus far has been littered with getting into playoffs and losing round one, which doesn't speak to his quality as a player. Obviously, it takes a lot of skill and dedication to get to that point in the first place. Lord knows I would never put in the effort for that shit, but I think it might touch upon an issue of nerves and high-level performance anxiety. So we're hoping to see, that legendary theorized greatness of which everyone touches upon here. But either which way, it should be a really quality match, and I'm just going to get off that and go into the game itself, wherein we're seeing some pretty interesting, albeit, good stuffy teams from both users. Ooh. Okay, so very interesting. Right out of the gate, we see a Scarf Toxic Garchomp, not entirely, not at all seen, versus a Life Orb Tornadus, and I think that's definitely a pretty safe move. Life Orb Tornadus not always seen, but if you have something like a Gastrodon, which I was about to touch upon, very dangerous for CBB's team, not so much in a direct sense because Amoonguss can sit on it, but in that that plus a safe answer to Amoonguss in something like a Heatran is going to be a big pain for him to circumvent. I think it's mostly going to boil down to sequences of mounts. Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm trying to, keep up with this, but CPB makes a really aggressive play right out the gate, anticipating mounts to try to capitalize on that quote-unquote free Amoonguss. Oh, and he's going with that. Nice. I'll touch upon that later, but CBB, regarded for his much more aggressive style of play, and he is exhibiting it right now with some really aggressive switches, trying to, overcome that issue of Gastrodon. This is going to make for a very dynamic game. And, a Stealth Rock as well. So I was wondering, that would make sense because, as he revealed his Scarf on Garchomp, I was beginning to question his rocking choice because Scarf, or Stealth Rock Metagross, is just a sin. And, while I wouldn't consider it as great of one, plenty of Oros players, and I can imagine him being one who would consider Stealth Rock T-Tar to be equally sinful. And, goddamn, this game is happening fast. They are, playing like madmen. It's hard for me to make reads on this play, but CPB, I think, is really getting the better end of the deal on this. Obviously, Mounts, he is recognizing that anytime that he goes to Gastrodon, CPB can easily just go to Amoonguss and sort of sponge up whatever, because he's pretty accepting of the fact that eventually this Amoonguss is going to get skull burned in the standard, back and forth exchange that we would see in a matchup such as this. Whether it be from Keldeo or Gastrodon kind of really doesn't matter. But the fact that CBB is getting value out of this Zapdos when you would otherwise get none is pretty wild. And, of course, dodging these Toxics is great for him as well, and really, Mounts isn't super great versus a Garchomp. I mean, obviously, he has some general stuff, but looking at it, and especially him going for that rather than Gastrodon, shows that that's probably a calm or sassy Gastrodon. Not that great for stomaching hits here, and, ooh. Alright, makes a nice read, recognizing that Secret Sword is the play. However, really, what can he do for that? The Torn is not that healthy. The Latios is obviously, A, not stomaching well, B, just begging to be, set up for that T-Tar, that alley-oop of he has to either DM and just totally sacrifice it, or he has to roost and then totally sacrifice it to the presumed CB Tar. Because on a team like this, when you're running a bulky-ass Zapdos, and even a Metagross that can inevitably Mega, I don't think that this team is worried about Pinsir in some way such that Scarf Tar is really a necessity here. So we're almost definitely going to see CB Tar, which Manus will have to preserve his Amoonguss HP, or his Keldeo HP for, rather. Ooh, and we see the Rocky Helmet Amoonguss, something that a lot of people give good word for, but don't often actually execute upon just because of how valuable it is to, really like pad out your Pokemon against the Scald Burns and whatnot. But this is not bad at all. And oh yeah, I should say that's probably a reference. The Poison Pharaoh is probably a reference to one of my nicks from like 2-3 SPLs ago. I had a Slowking nicknamed Zero Pharaoh after a fucking goddamn everything track, and that kind of caught on as a bit of a Raiders meme, and I guess he just stuck with him. So I'm just gonna take my cred there for whatever that's worth. But we're going back to just the regular old sequence wherein throws the Scald. And I think it would honestly behoove him to just go for that, because once he saw the, goes for the Earthquake, gets a crit. I don't see really the value in that. I guess sort of, but I'm not sure if I feel that. I'm not sure if I'm fucking with that. I'd rather just shoot for the Scald Burn and try to make a platform for yourself by thereafter pressing your luck with Keldeo and trying to set up an endgame from Scizor more than anything else. And touching upon that, we really need to look at the endgame for this, because they have been playing, fucking max speed as of yet, and we're going to see, I imagine a Pump would have to do it, so yeah, but he would probably... No, he still goes for Scald here, I think. Because... Oh, okay. Oh, never mind. I guess I didn't know the numbers well enough, and it resulted in a fucking Amoonguss getting splattered. Like, goddamn eviscerated with that. Okay. So, I guess I'm just all too used to seeing Amoonguss run a hefty, Spidef investment, and I would have expected to hear, honestly, but the Rocky Helmet should have alluded to it being otherwise still. Interesting, because that makes Keldeo much more threatening. It is going to be coming in, that Amoonguss, that is going to be coming in around, 40, 45, which will pave the way for all sorts of shenanigans, including, but not limited to, the fact that I think Secret Sword pretty much nabs one at this point every time he's able to sneak it in on something significant, and really kind of makes, I wouldn't say a liability out of T-Tar, because obviously it's switching into a crunch. It's still going to do some like 40-45%, just highballing it, and that would be invaluable for CVB. But ooh, he's really going for it. And does he get to the Latios? He does. Nice. That's really good for putting him back in the game. And he almost certainly goes for Crunch here, I think. Yeah, because he doesn't want to give that free legroom to any one Pokemon, especially Scizor at this point in the game, because the game of it just U-turning here versus, SDing or something to that effect is real dangerous. And obviously the more notable issue is that he has to pick a fodder here, and I think that honestly the way he's been, oh, it is Scarf Tar. Goodness, alright, that's interesting. I wouldn't have expected that looking at the team. And that would also mean the Scarf Latios, which has been picking up. I'm never a fan of that just because it makes the matter of defogging such a guessing game like every single time. You have to play the game of, oh, should I trick the Heatran coming in? Should I defog on the Heatran that's just going to get up rocks anyway? Or it compromises everything. And I think that in like an average, balanced, bulky offense matchup, Latios is getting pulled like 5 different ways, and it really doesn't perform as you would hope, being like that. It compromises everything in being that multi-tool that you want of it. It's just not a good look for me. Anyway, timer's really running down. They're really thinking through these plays, and he wins the speed tie. Dangerous game for CBB, because now it compromises his ability to handle that in-game Scizor. It's now in +2 bullet punch range, and with Zapdos being smartly punished by the Tornadus, I wasn't yet able to mention that his choice of Tornadus plus Scizor as an offensive battery is dangerous. And okay, I did not consider the possibility of fucking Spadef Zapdos, which is not particularly standard, but on a team like this, which again I was anticipating physically defensive, which is why I assumed for CB Tar, so I didn't come to the conclusion after that point that with a Scarf Tar he's safer versus Pinsir than ever and can afford a specially defensive Zapdos. So hopefully that made any amount of sense. Damn, dude, continuing his ability to make those aggressive plays into the Gastrodon, trying to punish Mount's Vise for momentum as much as possible. And as much as the Toxic Miss certainly did put a damper on his plans until this point, the fact that he hasn't pulled a Discharge Poison is also something that one should acknowledge, because it has been kind of fucking with shit as well, and has allowed Mounts to, at this point in the game, keep up Stealth Rock, where they otherwise could have, fished around, defog into a full pair, that kind of situation. But now that, there's the defog. Ooh, he's actually going for that, but I think that's more of an issue to press the double, when now we're going to see it. Oh, really? Oh. Yeah, that kind of bums me out, honestly, because I was really, really hoping that what that meant was he was going to, really force UV's hand and make him go for the switch into Amoonguss, and then, now that this Zapdos is pushed down both by knockoff, removing its leftovers, and the poison damage, he would go to Torn there. But now instead he's just like playing it a bit passively, which at this stage in the game I'm not sure about. I think that he should really be trying to push his odds at this point. And the fact that CBB is so liberally making these switches is really interesting to me. I think that, I don't know, as much as Tornadus is sort of an oddsmon itself, playing to the necessity to hit Hurricanes for it to put in work is, obviously dangerous, but more dangerous is Zapdos trying to play into Hurricanes and not getting confused. But then again, it is taking like fucking 25 from Heat Wave, which is insane, because seeing a team this well adapted for everything, and yeah, he keeps going for this curse sequence, but it's not stopping him from going to Amoonguss or going to Sludge Bomb each time, because really, what does that accomplish for you? Amoonguss isn't going to die to a +1 Earthquake, so he doesn't have any reason not to just throw the safe Sludge Bomb. Ugh. whatever, though. I think that, yeah, I mean, at this point, Mounts kind of can't pull this out unless we see a significant misplay off CBB's end. But, yeah, I just don't see it. He's going to have to, play to some odds here. And, that would be that. Ugh. So... Oh, there we go. There we go. And... yeah, I mean, he can go to the scissor there, and he presumed U-turn. But again, I feel like given how CBB has been playing, he can just as easily sludge bomb again. He's not low on PP here. He can just go for it. Yeah. He's keeping the pressure on as he should, and Mounts is just like hoping that he'll falter. But on a stage like this, I feel like you recognize what your end game is a little bit more than that, which is something that I kind of touched upon on that transition. But all right, nice. So he does make a pretty sharp play there, anticipating things, and oh my goodness, I always forget how fucking vicious Focus Blast Keldeo can be. Of course, good for situations like this. I think yeah, it was initially quite good for things like Suicune becoming hugely popular, but after that I didn't really acknowledge the post Oros implications of, say, punching through this Gastrodon scissor type thing. It's crazy. But yeah, that might just about do it. I think that he goes to Metagross, and just if he has Zen Headbutt, I mean, that would absolutely be the move, because you can just kind of fish for a minute. Or obviously, if he tries to stay in with the Torn, which he has no business doing, it'll just take one and KO. But, oh. Yeah, Mounts is giving it a lot of thought, though. I'm not sure if he is... Yeah, I'm not sure what he's contemplating here. He really can't ever afford to go to any move. Well, I mean, he could try for a crit, I guess, but what's the necessity to play that game right now? Oh, okay. I guess he finds a need in it. But yeah, that's gonna be it. Still, that was a really interesting game, and hopefully I was able to keep up, because that was fast as fuck, boy. Keemstar. Also, goddamn, okay, that does 53. Maybe I was misevaluating Metagross's power there. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed watching. Hopefully that I was able to keep up and offer you a commentary that, provides something one of your other favorite YouTubers does not. Man, this was dope. Pokemon's kind of cool sometimes. Most of the time it's a piece of shit, but, every once in a while you get some good shit going on. That was a lot of fun. I'll catch you around, guys. Deuces.